Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Sam.
Good morning. All right, we'll give everyone another minute to hop on here and we'll get started on this meeting here.
Hey, quick question about land contracts.
Yes.
What's the go-to contract for land? Like for, residential single family, we use the as-is 7X. Is there a specific contract for vacant land that we use?
Yeah, there is a vacant land contract. It's a lot shorter and sweeter.
Okay.
It's just type in your transaction S or DocuSign vacant land. It should pop up.
Okay, so I guess what I was asking, there's not like a FAR versus an as-is vacant land. Like there's not like a real distinguishable like contract.
No, there's just one. Yeah, it's
Okay.
just one.
Okay.
All right, we'll go ahead and get started here today, guys. We'll talk about a little bit of what's going on. I'm sure all you guys see it on news and all our medias about the partnership with Keller Williams and Zillow. Just want to give a brief overview of what this has for us here locally and for our agents. Mostly this will affect you as listing agents, the buyer agents. As you get more listings and build your pipeline, it will help you win more listings. So ultimately what it is, it's called a preview listing, which is a pre-listing where you get to see the listing before it goes live to the market. It's not as what Compass and Redfin and them are doing. They're talking more along the line of private exclusives. They have private exclusives and coming soon, but they're more involved with exclusives. This is still for the open market, everybody in the world to see. It's just keeping your days on market down longer and building up the hype that, hey, this is coming soon to the market. Us being with Keller Williams and the other ones that they have selected to be part of this with them, our coming soon is when you put it on there, it's going to be at the top of their list parameters. So when you're putting coming soons out there, it's at the top of the searches, right? I know locally, I don't know for Texas and all your guys' rules yet. I'm looking at them, but for ours here in Stellar, at this time, it's not going to make a big effect for us because coming soon, we can only market them for 24 hours prior to going live. Now, behind the scenes, trust me, Stellar and them are talking and getting back to where we used to be able to pre-market our listings for so many days before coming to the market, right? So that's the ins and outs of that, just basically what it is. So I wouldn't stress and wonder and worry about what all this means. It's to our benefit. That's what anything Gary Keller's doing is to our benefit as a whole and our clients, not just the brokerage itself. He works and is more entailed with the client's best interest. So that's why it is called preview listing, because everyone can see it. We're not keeping internal. Codwell Banker, Compass, all those agents can still see our listings coming soon, unlike their platforms. So don't worry about it. I just concentrate on keep doing my business and moving forward, right? That's where I would be. If Angel or Eric's on, if they want to put anything in on that, or we'll just move into some other metrics regarding Zillow.
Nothing here. It's pretty straightforward. I don't think
Yeah.
there's much. I think it's just, again, more noise and distractions than anything else.
And, yeah, use these distractions to your advantage and let everyone else sit there and worry and try to figure out and worry. Just this is our chance to get more clients, right, and help them out. So I want to go over just shortly regarding metrics that Zillow has been slowly rolling out over time, but it's coming to fruition here within the next month, right? They're going to be looking at our answer rate. You need to be, I'll tell you, the minimum score you can have is 25%. You got to be above that or you're going to fall off, right? 25% should be the people that are agents that are already having 2 to 3 deals a month going on. Now, if you're an agent without any deals or 1 deal every couple months, your answer rate should still be over 50% or higher. If not, you're not going to get the transactions that you want in the deals and build your pipeline. So that's the first avenue that they're looking at. Second is that we always know here lately, they're looking at approvals, right? Approval rates. The higher your approval is, the better. And that, right? It's their leads. Approval is not saying they got to use these. I know we're all worried about, hey, we're making them use them. No, we're not. They're just getting an opportunity as if we would with any other vendor, right? We're referring them for the opportunity at that point. And it's, they get the benefits of getting a soft pull, right? And finding out their credit score, softly without getting a hard credit pull, and appraisals are paid for. So it's an avenue for them to see their buying power. Now, whether they use it or not, that's ultimately the client's decision. I even get them to go over there for a second opinion or, to get a better interest rate. I've seen it. Third is our predictability regarding our conversions in the future. I'll go back to approvals. You're a rock star. If you're at 10% or higher, you're considered high. And then how they get your approvals is by how many clients we have met and showing homes that meet their parameters that are not mobile homes, vacant lands, or under 100,000 when they come in. If we met a client over 200,000 or over 100,000 that wants to buy a house, and we meet 10 of them, they ask just to give us them a chance of 1 approval. I send almost everybody to them just for first, second, and third opinions, just to make sure they're getting the right, they're getting a good deal. And it makes the clients feel they're getting a good deal with their lender that they already have, if they know that it's the same as another lender. So just so you know, and that helps you out too regarding if you're wasting your time on a client that says he has a pre-approval and the lender gave him one, right? And it's on a piece of paper, but they didn't do any checks. And the Zillow guy does the check and he says, this person isn't going to buy. We may need to educate them because I hate for him to get under contract for the house he loves. And this person didn't even check his bank statements or anything like that. So that's a reason to get those second opinions. Third is predictability. Right? And that's, over a 6-month period, they look back at what our conversion rates are and how many people we have in the pipeline. With our conversion rates, predictability over is 4%, they consider us high. So you want to have high in all these standards, and you are going to be a high-performing agent. And then regarding high-performing agents, they're going to start, we get so many leads on the team. Right? They allocate, and we can keep taking over markets. The high-performing agents are going to get it's going in fruition now, their buckets filled first. And then the next ones, and then all the way down to the bottom. And then what they're going to do is we're going to start looking at zip code preferences that you want, and they're going to try to fill your high-performing agents' zip codes that they want to be in first. And say, I want to be in zip code 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's where I want to be. And I don't want to be in the one next to me. What happens is that one next to me, they're not going to try to fill my bucket, and that's going to go to the next person in line, or the lower performing people. So you have to build your performance metrics up, right? Who has their hand raised? Alberto.
Yes. Hi, Sam. How are you? I have a question about that, about
Yes.
the conversion rate. Um, I coming from another industry, which is cars, but I was doing exactly the same thing. I was on internet sales, so we receive leads every day,
Yeah.
right? But instead of receiving it, we pick up leads. We go to like a lead pool, and we start picking up leads from the previous day or the last night, and they keep coming during the day, right?
Okay.
Now our conversion rate was a little higher, it was like 12% minimum, right? Because it's faster to sell a car than a house. That's simple.
Yes.
Now,
Yeah.
what my question is, I receive leads, for example, on Zillow that are out of state
Mm-hmm.
or they're looking to maybe relocate. But then, like yesterday, I spoke with one of the leads, and it says, "Well, I'm not relocating to Florida anymore. I'm relocating to I think it was Alabama, right? So that to me is a dead lead because it's out of my reach. How that affects me on my lead conversion, because I might have
Great
20
question.
leads,
So
30 leads, and then I have five of them that are not even qualified to purchase. Like I have like two or three of those. There's international students, they don't qualify, or they're not looking into Florida, looking into a different area, right?
hmm So great question, right? So when you're looking at that, as you're saying, they're taking that into consideration. There's leads that are just starting to look, not coming. They look at a 6-month period for this, right? As conversion metrics, right? And if your conversion metrics are at 4%, 6% is high, 4% or higher, that is a good conversion metric in their eyes, right? So they take in consideration those ones you're saying that are bad or moving out. But before we go into that, I want you to not consider that one a dead lead that's in another state or another area. That is an opportunity for you to refer to another agent and get a referral fee, right? Because you can still tell that person, hey man, I got a local agent over there. Let me get with my agent over there and I'll get back with you. I just want to check with him, make sure he has the capacity to take care of you right now. And then I'll get him back with you, him or her, the agent, right? The reason
All
I
right.
say I'll
That,
get him
that
back
was
with
my other
you,
question.
yeah. So the reason I say it that way is I don't know who I'm referring to them yet a lot of the times, right? So I'm researching through Keller Williams and Zillow, finding those top performing agents over there, and I'm calling them and having an interview with them until I find the right one for them. And then I tell them, hey, I'm going to refer you to this client. And I say, hey, I talked to Alberto over in Kansas where you're looking. He does have room for you. He's going to take great care of you. Then I send them, right? I don't give them names until I know who it is, right? So refer to them. Make money that way. Okay.
Excellent. And question about referrals out of the market, my market center, right? I have like two customers that are looking at one in Cape Coral, the other one in Fort Lauderdale. And I can refer those customers, but how do I disclose compensation since we have a different compensation as a team instead of a single agent?
Your conversation. What do you mean? I would just refer them for a 25 to 30. I would do a 25 to 30 cent referral fee. Yeah, we got to pay the broker and everybody, but most of the time you're not paying Zillow or anyone like that.
Okay, that was my question. So
Yeah, so
the
call,
40%
talk.
on Zillow is off the table if I do that.
Yes, and we'll, right now, yes, until they probably figure out some kind of system within there. But yes, I would refer them out. With that part. What are they looking for in Cape Coral? Or they have a condo over there, and Deer on the team has a townhouse for sale over there. But get with her on the duplex. She's selling that, a duplex. So in Cape Coral on the water, good price. So that is on there. And then, like I said, regarding the bad leads, good leads, dead leads, I would not consider any of those. That's why they do it over a 6-month period, a rolling 6 months. So those ones that are coming in that are going to be a year out, right? They count for you in the future. So don't count anything out. They know it's not like you said, cars instant. It's a long-term game in this business. So you want your long-term percentages up. It's hard to see what you're going to do in 30 days, right? If you're new to the team, your percentages are all out of whack. And we know that, and they know that. They give us, those time frames to get our numbers up as agents. So, yeah, if you had no deals, I would be answering the phone. I told you 50, but I would do 8. I'd want to answer the phone 100% of the time if I have no clients, right? But at least 80% of the time. Right? If you have 0 deals, you want your metrics there. If not, what are we doing all day? I know as a realtor, we get in this business because someone told us we can make our own hours, do whatever we want. Yeah, we can, but if we don't make hours in real estate, we don't make money, right? We still have to have hours somewhere at the end of the day. And I told a few guys, before, this is the easiest, hardest job you will ever have, right? It's flexible, but you still have a hard job. So, and was there another hand raise question for the beat? No. All right, Angel. Do you have anything to kind of fill in here on these metrics, or do you guys have any questions on them? How to make yourself better? I mean, the main thing is just answer your phone and go. I mean, Pam is a prime example. She answers her phone, she just goes to the client, right, and wins them over at the house.
I'm going to be taking a deep dive into the predictability score with your Orlando team next Friday. So we're going to take a look at everyone's individual score, where they're at, and how we can impact those numbers. So we'll dive into that next week. But as far as what we can do, I mean, the biggest thing that I can tell you is now is the time. I can't stress this enough. Now is the time to take market share from other teams that are low performers, because there's a lot of pivotal changes that are going on behind the scenes with Zillow and how they're pushing out their leads and where the business is going. And we're walking into spring as well. So if we can really fix what we have going on with our zips and our pickup rate and our conversions and our pre-approvals, if we can work through those things, we're going to have prime example or prime zip codes that we can get into. So we all know, right? If we can get into that Lake Nona zip code, or we can get into the Lakeland zip code, or these different zip codes that have higher price points, that means more money for everybody at the end of the day, right? So that's what it's all about, is just moving the needle a little bit more every single day. But currently where we're at in this current moment, the numbers are just so-so, right? And so I don't consider us just a so-so team. I would really consider us a high-performing team, but we really only have 4 high-performing agents out of all of our agents, which are 40 or 50, and that number needs to move, right? And so it's time for us to win. So we got to fix some of this stuff, and we all hear the same old thing: Zillow lead's bad, this lead is bad. A lead is a lead at the end of the day. It's an opportunity to snap at. It's a conversation. All I need is 20, 30 conversations to sell 2 or 3 properties a month. That's really what I'm looking for, right? Is an at-bat, an opportunity. So we'll take more of a deep dive next week for the Orlando side. That's
okay, good. And I know there is something coming soon too to kind of help get us driven for approvals. So say they're allocating us 10 leads a month. They're allocating me 10 leads a month. They're saying, hey, we're not going to take these leads from you, but hey, if you get us another approval, right? All I'm asking, same thing. Angel saying, I want an at bat to win over their business. If I get another bat, there's always an abundance of leads. They will shift leads from other people that are not getting the at bats. So they have a bunch of leads that they always are kind of flopping around. They'll give, hey, Sam, you gave me a bat. I'm going to give you 10 more at bats this month. Extra 10 bats to get you that conversion that you want, right? You're helping me get an at bat. I'll help you get at bats too. So it's kind of, playing nicely together in Sandbox. And at the end of the day, I'm utilizing this, and I have in the past. to build my pipeline of clients for my long-term game forever. So when I do this client for $200,000 mobile home, I'm not looking at it as a $200,000 mobile home. I'm looking at it as like, all right, I'll sell you this house at $200,000. I'm gonna have your friends and families, and they're $200,000. I got two of them. There's, $600,000 deal right there I just did, and then I'm gonna sell your property again in the future when the values go up. So I'm looking at the long-term game with it. I don't look at their values when they come in to do that. I mean, I've had my first sale on was a $40,000 mobile home, right? I bought and sold for them 3 times since then, and a couple of times for a few of their family members, right? So yeah, if I looked at that $40,000 trailer and then turned off by it, I wouldn't have all those other deals stacked up that I did have a referral fee on now, right? So that $40,000 trailer looked pretty at that time. Hindsight, right? So look at this to build your book of business forever. And it is. That's what it's going to be. You use them to build your pipeline and your business for the future. Anyone have any questions here? And we'll do more deep dives as we get, because I'm gonna have some meetings with them today and tomorrow, with some of the ZHL higher ups to get more in depth here since it's new. So we will get more and more to you guys as it comes out. All right, well, if everybody has something for us. I like everyone's out there. Everyone that has deals and are moving and get the answering the question today are the ones that have the clients that are working and are having transactions coming through. So it goes to show you if we're putting in the work, we're getting the return. Got anything? Go ahead, Deanna.
I just want to say, this being as I'm a first time realtor and I've been in real estate a lot, on the other side, I didn't realize how much work we would put in as realtors. This is not something that I've learned that you can do a couple of hours a day to get by. I've invested almost 30 hours into this one client that I have a final showing for this Saturday alone, and just searching for the property because your client has a particular taste. He is a high-end client, so he has a lot of demands for what he wants out of his home. And it's really hard because sometimes you have to deep dive into what these homes are, down into the type of roofing and if it's septic or city or things like that. Like, just as advice to anybody else on this call that may be struggling, we're all going to struggle at some point doing this, but I can honestly say that I have more respect for realtors now than I've ever had. Because even though we get told, and I was told exactly what Sam said, you get to make your own schedule. That is true. You get to make your own schedule because real estate, there's never enough time for it. Like, I feel like I don't have enough time for this. And so to put in 5 hours one day, 2 hours the next, 6 hours the next day, even though nobody really sees how much effort we put into this, I feel like there's a whole different level of respect for us as a team, that if we're all putting in that effort, that, we can lean on each other for advice. Because I've messaged Sam and I've messaged Matt and I've messaged Dana and I've messaged Caitlin, and I'm struggling and I'm looking for answers and they give me what I'm looking for. And then you just have to be a self-starter. You just have to be encouraged to do this. You have to want to get up every day with the desire and the love for real estate to do this. And I feel like if we have any questions, they're there for us. I know sometimes it's difficult. We struggle with reaching out for help, and I'm the worst at it. I'm the worst at communication. I'm the worst at struggling. I don't want to ask for help. But as of a word of advice, they're there for us. If you're struggling, reach out, ask them for help. Don't be scared.
Yes, that's what we're here for. And then, yes. we're here for you for that. And then if you see agents that are making it look easy, yeah, it does get easier over time, guys. And the reason it gets easier, just like any profession, is the more you see and the more you do, the better you get at it. And so it does become an easier field, but it takes time and a lot of hard effort into it. So
Yeah, a
don't
lot
give
of
up on that.
effort.
Yes, you're doing
But I
good.
wish
You just started.
I wish everybody the best of luck. But it's hard, and you have to be willing to devote time. I've worked
Correct.
really hard just on one client, and when you're trying to have 5 clients, 10 clients, I could tell you when you're trying to balance it, don't balance your time just on one client. I've learned a hard lesson these last couple weeks that when you have 5, that you have to spread your time out equally to each one because they all have a demand.
All right.
You know, you
All
mentioned
right,
something there at the end, which is the word luck, right? And I will take that word luck out of real estate because it's not luck, right? We don't just get lucky and find a client.
Yeah.
It's the work that we put in, right? So I know if I manage 10 clients, if I'm working 10 clients at any given time, at some point in time, they're going to transact with me because I know, they have timing and there's some financial things there. So there is a predictability to this business. And so the way to be in this business and stay in the business is to be predictable is to make sure you do the work consistently, right? So it's not about luck, it's consistency. And if that consistency happens, well shit, you'll get lucky and you'll find some deals, right? So it's consistently taking phone calls, it's consistently following up, it's consistently making your notes so that next time they call you, you know exactly what's going on in their situation. That consistency is what we're looking for to stay in the business long term. So it's not luck, it's definitely consistency which drives the needle.
Yeah, I don't.
Albert's, I'm going to let Angel take over here. I have to hop on this other meeting, and Alberta will get to you. We'll get going. We'll dive deeper. I'm going to go try to find some more information, guys, for you right now. So stuff.
Yep. Go ahead, Alberto. You had something, and then Eric, I'm just let you chime in here too.
Yes, I just want to add something that we need to have as a realtor, right? We need to have process. It is easy, very easy to lose contact with one of the leads when they're not responsive, right? So you have to keep reaching out because you don't know how people are in their life, right? They might be having a baby, or they might be traveling for work, or something is happening and you don't know, right? That's why they're not being responsive. But one day they just decided to respond because you've been there consistently, sending a text, sending an email, having a voicemail, right? Okay, this guy is I remember one of my clients told me, like, I reached back to you because I keep seeing your emails every day, and when I was ready, I called. So that's one thing. I know Follow Up Boss is not the best CRM for that. Honestly, it's easy to lose one of the leads right there, but you have to implement process. And another, I would say, suggestion I would do, if we can do like a training. I know Sam's do some phone training as well, but sometimes when we call the customer, we don't know what to do, what to say, and how to answer some of the questions or objections, right? So some kind of a script practice for everybody, so we know what to say, right? Because sometimes we say the wrong thing and then we lose interest on that customer. That's why they become unresponsive after 2 or 3 calls.
Yeah, that's definitely good feedback. So I think we can all have those times where we get stuck on stuff. So we can definitely add some more trainings. The caveat to that is we need participation. So we need you guys to be more engaged in the trainings more consistently, because it does make it difficult where we're having the trainings, people don't show up, and then we're overlapping and repeating the same thing. So I absolutely agree, though. There's so much more that we can learn, but it's repetition. That's how we build that skill set to really get better. So I'll definitely come up with some more consistent trainings for you guys. Eric, you got anything?
Yeah, I mean, I want to highlight, and I think this kind of applies to all the things that we're talking about here, but I want to highlight your first interactions with these clients, right? If you don't get enough information, you're not useful to them down the line, right? So even though you may not be buying that house, 99% of the time they're not buying the first house that they see, but I want to know about their kids. I want to know about their life. I want to know about their family, right? Like, I know that's a hard ask sometimes, but I think that's where, when you talk about scripts, maybe we can kind of have conversations about how to open those people up a little bit, because I think when we go to the follow-up, if we don't have that rapport or even a basic information about them personally, we're truly just Joe Schmo off the street, right? And so when I'm following up, I don't like to call them and say, hey, I'm just following up, right? Hey, I want to see how you're doing. Are your kids feeling better? You told me, you told me a couple weeks ago that they were not feeling well. What, are they okay? Do you need anything? So it's important to listen and to try to break through as much as you can on that first call, because I think we're going to be more successful realtors. Like, listen, we wear different hats all the time, right? Like we're shrinks, we're advisors to their money sometimes. Like we're gatekeepers of so many trades and so many industries that, like, we should utilize that a little bit more. How can we, when we flip the script of like, hey, how do I sell you this house? But no, how can I help you beyond that, because I've listened to what you're looking for? Or, hey, can we just go get some coffee? Right? Like, I think there's so many utilizations that we can use to connect with these people a little bit more. Not saying that you're going to get coffee with any of these Joe Schmo leads, but I'm just saying, like, we have to think a little bit more outside the box and be more personable to them and how we can relate, right? We are a relationship driven business. And I just think that, like, we can do a lot better on the front end of those first initial conversations and opening them up to, hey, I'm here to be your friend. Yes, I'm your realtor and I'm going to give you the best advice. And you know what? I may not have the right information. Like, Alberto, like, listen, I've botched numerous leads before, and I can tell you that confidently that, hey, I learned from my mistakes and I found that information so that I can be more successful when I did have that conversation, and also presented it in the light that I know exactly what you're talking about because I've kind of messed it up in the past. But that's going to be part of that. But I just think, my 2 cents to this is, getting to a point where we're not just calling leads to follow up. They're going to ghost us. We're going to have those type of leads. But I think that conversions are going to get better if you truly are connecting them from a relationship standpoint and not a transactional standpoint, because all they know is you're just here to show them the house. How do you show them that I'm not just, a realtor? I'm also a father. I'm also a mentor. I'm also a light for you and what you're doing, even outside of buying a house. And how can I position myself to be that go-to person? Because I think once we position ourselves to that go-to person, not for real estate, but also for, for trades, for, mentorship, anything like that, I think that's where, that mindset sometimes can flip to where you're starting to get people calling you instead of you calling them. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Thank you for that, Eric. I think it definitely is one of those things we get caught up in this. We say it all the time, commission breath, right? We're just so caught up in trying to make the next sale. I'm guilty of it. I do it all the time, and I have to check myself and be more personal and relationship driven with them. And it will always lead to more relationships. And so, when we have these conversations up front, we all get pissed, right? They don't answer the phone, check it. They don't follow up. They don't answer the phone. They don't respond back to emails or texts. Somebody said earlier, they all have lives. And so we think it's a priority. Sometimes it's just not a priority for them. And that follow-up will be key. So we'll definitely come up with some more trainings for you guys. Next week in Orlando, I'll be sitting with everybody and talking about the predictability score and how to manage the lead, the life cycle of the lead, best practices, stuff like that. We're going to take a really deep dive into it. And I'm sure Sam and Eric will coordinate with their side as well. But that's a huge part of our business, right? Zillow is a huge driver in our business, and it's a pipeline builder, and that's what we need to do, is just keep building the pipeline. Somebody raise their hand. Go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, and just notating, I put it in the WhatsApp today. I want to share this with you guys because it was I know we have a vendor list, and we're very good about going into WhatsApp and saying, hey, do we have a guy for this or a guy for that? But I encourage you guys to try to build your own, network of vendors, whether that be electricians, plumbers, AC guys, right? Like plug that into your own sphere, because if it's the law of like reciprocation, right? Like we refer a lot of our vendors because we've used them in the past and we have those relationships. But I encourage you guys, go find your own relationships, right? Like there is so much business to business being passed around constantly, right? And a lot of these trades guys are in the house before they sell and before they're contacting the realtor. And so I encourage you guys to, like, yes, we are in the mindset of when's the next lead going to come in, and that's great. We're ready for that. But also I encourage you to take the time, even during the week, to call some more vendors, build some relationships with people that are industry specific, because I feel like you're going to find more information out from them and asking them questions so that you can relay it to your client if they have any issues, right? I had a great conversation. I had a past client that is in the insurance industry, called him up just to say, hey, is there anything that I'm wearing my construction hat today because I'm not a realtor today. I just want to help you out. What are some of the things that you guys are looking at to fix in your house here this year, or maybe in the near future or right now, that I can lend a hand to you? He's like, actually, that's great. I'm looking to actually put a pergola and do some concrete work in the back. So I sent him a few things like that. Hey, also, I need an insurance guy, right? Tell me about what you're doing. And lo and behold, I called another client that later that day. He said, hey, I'm actually trying to shop over insurance, because I said, hey, I'm not wearing a realtor hat today. I was able to connect my previous client and my two previous clients together and send over some stuff. But again, the point that I say that is now I've got my previous client saying, hey, I'm getting business from you. I need to get business for you back, right? So so I think that there's a missed opportunity that we have a lot of times. It took me about like an hour, right, to call some previous clients from this past year and this year to just say, hey, how can I help? And I encourage you guys to do that, because again, that's our sphere, right? Like I think we always look at like who's going to give us business in our friends and family, but business to business is the way to go sometimes. I know a lot of realtors that get a ton of business just from the referrals that they're getting from their internal vendors. So I definitely want to encourage you guys to go out and do that and build your own sphere of vendors, right? Because I think you're going to learn from it, and then hopefully you're going to prosper from it, because those are the people that want to give you business too, knowing that they're getting business from you.
Awesome. Good stuff, Eric. That's definitely a talking point that we are going to take a deeper dive into. We got to build the pipeline first, and then we can grow it from there. But as far as Zillow goes, if you guys have some obstacles that you want to chat through, we've got another about 20 minutes that we can help kind of navigate some stuff. Eric and I can kind of talk through, best practices. We'll do some role playing and stuff next week, along with maybe listening to a couple of calls. So we'll just let you guys have some objections or whatever that you're hearing, and we'll walk through it. Go for it. Whoever just raised their hand, I can't see. Sorry. Sarah.
Yeah, how do you guys handle the Zillow leads that come in that are like people in Orlando on vacation, and they're staying in like one of those Airbnbs, and they see the for sale sign across the street, and then they want to see it, and then you can't go and see that like that day. You have to book that out like 2 to 3 weeks in advance because they're booked up.
Eric, you want to go on that one?
Yeah, I mean, I think utilizing the tools that we can use. I mean, obviously, yes, that's it's educating them, right? Like, hey, you're in an Airbnb by yourself or yourself. Like, there's probably people in there, and it's probably not good for Airbnb business if you're out showing the house that they're rented out, right? So I would encourage you to do maybe a video call, right? Hey, you know what? Well, tell me what are your plans for this property? Are you guys looking for an Airbnb? Great. Well, it is a hard turnaround time because it could be booked out for months or weeks on end that I only have a short amount of window to get in there. But how about I go ahead and I can video you a lot of these houses and go that route so that you're at least giving them a service instead of a hard no. Because I think once we give them that hard no or give them, the hey, we can't do it, they just kind of again ghost us in a sense. But I mean, those are long-term nurture situations probably too, because they're not truly living here. But I would give them the option of a video call. Hey, I'd love to, video even a couple for you in this neighborhood because there's usually, a few that are for sale in the area. So why don't I go ahead and what's your preference? What are you typically looking for, or what are you looking for? And I would do those video calls. They can see your face. You could put a face to the personality and go and show them the house in like 30-second, 40-second increments of just showing them the house. And then, maybe following up with if you can find some rent rolls or you can find a little bit of data in terms of what they're renting for out of the months. Cause usually you can go in there and find a few that are on Airbnb. I would go that route.
Yeah, I've done like the videos, but it's like they leave Orlando and they're like no longer interested, right? Because they're not in that like vacation, and then they get back to reality and it's like, oh, we can't afford that,
I mean, it's just going to happen, right? I mean, it's just one of those, again, long-term nurture situations. Like it's, you get excited and you want to help them, but at the end of the day, if I can go out and take some videos and at least show them that, hey, like, I've showed you a little bit of value, even though this may not work out. It truly, that's just, in your mindset, you got, again, as Angel said before, at least you got the at bat, right? And you got to meet somebody from a different state. And then I would plug in too, hey, I work in all states, right? We're with Keller Williams. I have a large network. So like, I work here in Florida, but I have agents all across the country. So, I mean, plug into their current market. Hey, what can I do? Possibly could get a referral out of it in their own state that they're from. So, again, that's where I would tell you, like, yes, that lead may not work out right now or 6 months and 6 years, but at least you had the conversation, and that's somebody you can plug into your own, database that you can show them, shoot them an email, shoot them a market update, stay in touch with them. Those are the ones that usually come around, and things change, right? Like life changes. So I would just encourage you to, keep in communication with that. And yes, It sucks. I'm telling you that it's probably not going to work out, but again, these are, what do we get, Angel? Like 200 plus leads a month. If I can communicate with 25 people that I never got to communicate with, that's just going to build over time, right? Like, yes, they're not going to be high priority lead that you need to communicate with every day, every week, every month, but you can touch on them and you can communicate with them. Again, that's where it's key. Like, hey, well, why are you looking into this property? What are you, what are you doing this for your family? Tell me about your family. Tell me about what your goals are in 5-10 years, right? Like that's where those caps kind of turn off and turn on, because I'm trying to figure out, why are you looking at this now? And there's probably there's several conversations behind that they're having to figure out if that works for their family. Dig a little deep and then put them on that long-term nurture, so that at least, hey, I've got somebody that I know from, South Dakota that I'm not going to, and I can, maybe refer it out to a South Dakota agent, in 5 years when they're trying to look for a house, and maybe they're asking you, questions about they're trying to sell their house. I don't know, but again, that's the long-term play. And that's, maybe a small little piece out of your month that you go and call those people just to follow up and say, hey, how you doing? Hopefully that helps. I don't know if that helps.
Okay.
But.
So those are like more once a month type people, like you just kind of reach out once a month with like an email or a call.
So the way you're going to nurture all of your clients is you'll have them on a short list, right? And then you'll tackle that list every single whatever day you want to work it, right? So let's just say you have 30 clients on a list. You may not call all 30, but you may get through like 10, and you'll follow up the following week. And I'll touch base with those folks in different ways. I'll say 1 week it's just going to be like, hey, just check it in, see how everything's going. How's the search going? Have you seen anything that stood out, right? That might be one day. The next, maybe 2 weeks later, depending on what their timing is, the next 2 weeks, I might say, hey, I'll shoot a property over. Hey, I saw this property. I was thinking of you. Here's the rent information if it's one of those short-term rental folks. If I stumble on a deal, right? If I'm looking for properties for another client, I find one that rents really well, I'll pitch it to them like, hey, look, this is a great opportunity, right? And so sometimes you just pitching stuff, you're staying top of mind. If you get a property manager that you want to introduce to them, hey, week 4, 5, and 6, maybe I'm just going to shoot you a contact. Here's some cleaners that you can use. Here is a property manager, right? So I'm going to be, going back to value, I'm going to be a value add for them, and that will be my touch point. So you have to come up with a strategy that works for you. For me, I keep all of my basically holding clients on a short list, and I follow up with them once a week. And if it becomes, well, hey, they're not really buying anytime soon, they're 6 months out, that may be every 2 to 3 weeks, maybe once a month even. So use your discretion. But as far as that question that you asked about the short-term rental, I may take a deeper dive into what they're looking for, what kind of investment vehicle they want to get into, what their price points are. Hey, this is 400s. Mortgages are typically between $4,000 and $5,000 a month. The return is going to be X. Are you comfortable floating, a month here and there? Here's the occupancy rate. I want to be a little bit more well-versed. And when I'm working with those clients, I think once you get well-versed with the investment portion, you'll be able to secure them a little bit more. So you just got to put a little bit more time in talking to them about what they're looking for more so. And it may not be a good fit. Maybe they're just looky-loos, like you said. But I would just do a little bit more front end, just trying to understand what they're looking for. That might help. Let's see, Brittany, go ahead.
So I just had a question regarding this lead that I got. They inquired to have a real-time tour, and I got everything confirmed, try to follow up, and they were like, no, thanks, I don't need the showing anymore. I was like, all right, do you want to reschedule? Do you want to go over, what you're looking for, and I can send you some other properties? And she's, no, thank you. I'm good. Have a great day. And then I forewarned the number because it came in as test. So I was like, all right, let me see what's going on here. That lady actually owns the house. She's the seller. So I was like, oh, hey, yeah. And I was like, it looks like you might be the seller. Is that right? So she said, yeah, sorry for wasting your time. And I asked her if she had plans for after her selling. She said she was just going to look into an apartment. And I kind of, tried to get more motivation behind that. She explained a couple things and whatnot. And I was like, well, she said her mom that lived with her died and she doesn't like the maintenance and whatnot. And I was like, hey, have you considered like a condo or a townhouse? And, what she has equity in the house that she could use towards it. And, trying to see if that was an option. But she was saying that she just wants to rent, but may change her mind but probably not for a couple years. Like, I think that is a silly thing to do with throwing away your money. But I mean, what do you respond to that?
Sorry, I was on mute. So I think you handle it really well, right? You took time to understand the situation, what they're looking for, what their needs are. Like, I don't think you can get much better than that. Sometimes we're looking for like the secret sauce and the best way to handle stuff. You guys are doing the right stuff. And sometimes it just takes more opportunities to get there. So I wouldn't change anything that you did. You can't convince somebody to sell, right? There has to be a need there. So I think you handle it perfectly. So for all of you that are listening, like, do exactly that. Take the time to understand the situation, not be quick to write that person off. Now that lead in particular, tag me in that lead and we can push that back and take it back out of our numbers. Because if it's just a seller looking for information, that doesn't really count as a lead. So, but I think you handle it great. So there's nothing I would add. Eric, I don't know if you have any opinion on that, but I think you nailed it. So good.
Yep.
What else?
Hey guys, just a quick heads up. I went to a meeting yesterday at the Lake Nona office, and they talked about the whole Zillow situation that's happening. Supposedly, Gary Keller has been fighting for us with Zillow, and supposedly what's happening is when we put the coming soon listings up and let's say a Zillow Flex agent gets a tour request for that home, what they're saying is that if that agent closes that client, not necessarily with your listing, within 90 days, we're going to get a 10% referral fee from Zillow. And then also the office is going to get like a percentage as well, like a few $100 kickback as well. So there's some really interesting things happening with the whole Zillow thing right now in the coming soons. And it sounds like Gary Keller is fighting for us. So exciting
So
time.
so with that being said, Joe, that's a great point. You stole my thunder. I was going to mention that next week. So thank you. When we're talking about the pipeline that you guys are building, that's why it's important to have the buyers and the sellers, right? It's important to control the buyers. That way you're controlling the inventory and the flow, but also the sellers so that you know exactly, you can predict your business. So that's why it's important to have both sides, right? And so the best way for new agents to build your business is going to be through the buyers, right? Because they all have homes to sell. They're going to upgrade over time. That's why it's more important than ever time to really manage as many clients as possible, because we're going through this weird change in time where, we're going to be able to control and dictate our business for a long period of time. So we need to be more reason why we need to get more clients. So thanks, Joe. All right. So looks like we got the gift of time back to you guys. Got about 10 minutes or so extra time. So you guys crush it. Have a great week. Orlando side, we'll see you next Friday. Sam will reach out to you guys to do additional trainings, and we'll go from there. Have a great week, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Have a
Take
good
care.
day.
Angel, can you stay on real quick? Nope. Never mind.